What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Atlantic Files, the number one podcast on the number one division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. As always, joined by your host, myself, Alex Fishbein. We got Dennis Big Sexy Clausen and Mike Bash joins us again. What's going on, fellas?
What's up? What's up?
How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
I was very disappointed in Summer League this year.
Why?
Why's that?
So here's the thing. Summer League starts off, it's huge. Everybody's talking about it. They're talking about guys winning rings for Summer League. The place is packed when Wembanyama comes out. You got Scoot gets hurt really early, but then you're trying to make you're trying to make a big spectacle about it. But then you got, Jabari Smith not playing, and you got Tyree. It's either commit to Summer League to make it like a big thing, or because by the time you get to like the final couple days of Summer League, it's embarrassing. You got like 4 people in the audience. If you looked at all the empty seats in there. They need to do something about figuring out how to keep it important throughout the duration instead of just, putting all their eggs in a basket early, because then it kind of fizzles out towards the final day.
I mean, I definitely see your argument there, especially because when you have, honestly, I feel as though the established second-year players just shouldn't even play in the first place. Like Jabari, Keegan Murray, who played for the Sacramento Summer League, those guys, I don't think they have a need to play. And obviously they came in, put up tons of points, and then stopped playing after 1 or 2 games. So I feel like it's not even worth having them risk any type of injury. But then then you can give at least more spotlight to the rookies, some of the guys still working for a training camp deal or a 2-way deal. I think that's part of the excitement there. And then at least those guys can play the entire time. So you're building more and more excitement for people like Cam Whitmore. And even Chet Holmgren, who, since he was hurt, he does need to actually play to establish something. And those guys do actually bring some more excitement because they're playing the entire time.
Now, I do like it better, the fact that these guys, instead of playing some pickup game with some random schmo, look at all the bad, horrible things that happen from pickup games. John Morant is involved in a civil suit with a guy for playing a pickup game at his house. Chet Holmgren gets injured last year. I forget the name of the league he was playing. Yeah, LeBron was playing, but...
Was it the Drew League?
Yeah, it was the Drew League. I think the NBA needs to sanction, or the teams need to have official designated people who these people can play with and against. Not just anybody, because good things aren't happening when you're out there like that playing as much.
What's the thing that wouldn't happen if they were playing at Lifetime Athletic or whatever in New York City? It wasn't like a physical play. He just landed wrong on a jump.
But I'm talking about, more so, I guess I'm talking about the John Morant thing. He has a 17-year-old playing at his house who's now 18, who's now suing him.
Yeah, that's a whole messy situation.
Well, you don't want to play pick up with your buddies?
I mean, a lot of them do play pickup with other NBA players with the specific trainers or the through the lens runs and things like that. I feel like those kind of pickup games are perfectly fine. Like Dennis is saying, at least they're playing with other, even if it's high level Division I college guys or guys maybe past NBA players or even guys trying to work their way up into the NBA. I think that kind of thing is fine, but yeah, we're playing pickup with random 17-year-old kids, and then you start taking out a gun or playing pickup with just random schmoes at the LA Fitness down the street is probably not in their best interest.
Yeah. I get it.
They just need to be like sanctioned events, or there's a list of acceptable places that these guys could play. If they want to play in summer league, fine, but just stop. Either going to play the whole thing, or you're not playing at all. Like, don't play 2 games and then not play anymore. Don't play a game. Like, thank you for gracing us with your presence, Victor Wembanyama, but I don't care. It turns me off completely because they're making a big deal. They're ranting and raving. It's his first game playing, and everybody's there. The place is packed. Blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, that's it. They shut him down. Like, stop doing that. It's not that important. If you want him to play, play. If not, then keep him off the floor. And if anything, I think you're hurting the guy because if you're babying him already, you're babying him in summer league. 2 games you're going to let him play, and then you're pulling the plug on him already, which we know this is going to happen. And it's probably going to go into this where they're going to baby this kid so much throughout the regular season. In some ways, it may impact his development.
I do have a feeling they're going to be so worried about him getting hurt that it's going to be a little like, all right, come on now.
I don't think they're. I mean, he's an 18-year-old rookie who's like, you know, he's like this thin. You know what I mean? But or 19-year-old rookie. But I don't think they're going to play the load manage him as a rookie. Yeah, maybe he plays 70 games or 75 games instead of 82 games. But like he also played professionally this past year in France, and his season like ended like 3 days before the draft. While these guys that were coming out of college and Overtime Elite and G League Ignite, their seasons ended in March. Victor was still playing up until like the end of May or the end of June, whatever it was. I don't remember when his season ended, but I know it was not. It was like weeks ago, not months ago. So like he really, the reason they gave him like a 2-week or 2-day trial in summer league is we all know the kid's talented, the kid's good. Like they wanted him to showcase his skills. Once he had that big game, it's let's let him rest and get his off season because kid just came over from France, doing all the media obligations. Plus, his season just ended. It made perfect sense why he only played 2 games.
I just think it's stupid from like a fan's perspective. If you just don't have him play at all, let him rest, and then let him play in the preseason.
Yeah, but I guess you had to like give him a chance just to like, just get his feet wet.
I mean, I see both sides because they did originally say that he wasn't going to play at all. Those were the original reports, was that he was not going to play Summer League, especially because of what you said, Mike, that his season ended right before the draft. I remember they were saying if his team won like one more game, he wasn't even going to make it to the draft because I think it would have extended that final series by one more game. But those original reports were saying like he wasn't going to play at Summer League, which to me, I was like, okay, that makes sense. He just finished his season not too long ago. You're protecting your asset, whatever it may be. But then they were like, maybe he'll play a game or 2. And then other reports in like the Low Post, and I think there was a couple other podcasts where guys were saying they wouldn't be surprised if Pop and the Spurs only play him like 1 or 2 games at or over the exact limit to qualify for Rookie of the Year, which is at like 64, 65, I think. Which is like, so they're legitimately going to just hold him out of stuff just so he can play the exact amount, but also protect him from all this other stuff. And while I understand load management in like older veterans that you really want to protect that, are breaking down by the second, I don't know. It just seems weird to me doing that for a rookie. And of course, they're just reports right now, but that just seems dumb to me.
Well, anything that this guy gets, if he stubs his toe, if he gets a hangnail, if he gets a ingrown hair on his face from shaving, they're going to keep him out. Like, that's how it's going to go.
No, for sure. I completely agree. And I mean, I will say in his 2 games,
he needs to go hang out with Zion for the next couple months and gain some weight.
I don't know, because then he might also learn how to get hurt too.
And get her girl pregnant, or a couple of them.
That too. He's already super popular. He had Britney Spears tapping him on the shoulder, so Lord knows how many women he could probably get if he really wanted to. But I will say his first
She wouldn't even need to get on her knees for that one.
That's true. Easy access, you know? Sometimes it just works out.
I mean, what this security guy, is he stupid though? At what point did this guy not go, oh my God, it's Britney Spears?
Right. She's very noticeable and recognizable.
She's an icon. Like a 90s icon.
She doesn't look anything like she used to. She looks like a drugged out, like maniac.
Her face is still the same, though. She gained a little weight, but her face is still the same. I mean, yeah, she was ridiculously skinny back in the day,
But she was the heartthrob of the late 90s.
Yeah.
We were like 5 years old in the late 90s.
Correct. And then, she had the album or the video where she was wearing the schoolgirl outfit. She had every teenage guy, including myself, going absolutely fucking bonkers. And yeah, he might not know who she is. He's only 19. Like, I get it. But that would be the equivalent of like Mariah Carey coming up, to a guy our age or my age, and your stupid security guy backhands her. It's like, dude, it's Britney Spears. She wants to say hello.
Right. I told Deanna my first celebrity crush was Britney Spears. So that there is something to say for all those videos, all those music videos.
See, guys my age, we had the better heartthrobs because we had Kelly from Saved by the Bell. I don't know if you guys knew. Kelly from Saved by the Bell. Topanga from Boy Meets World, everybody, because she was like thick and she looked good. And Pam Anderson, every guy, teenager, when she was on Baywatch, man.
And Dukes of Hazzard. Or no, Jessica Simpson was Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, Jessica Simpson, I mean, she used to be hot.
True. A lot of these ones used to be hot.
Yeah, but these girls though, throughout time, there's been just these girls that just have a lock on every male on the planet.
True.
And at the time, she was one. She's Britney Spears.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of tissues being wasted on her.
A lot of socks, like we talked about last
time.
What is wrong with you guys? None of this has anything to do with basketball.
Sure, it does.
I mean, technically, it kind of does because Britney Spears tried to tap Victor Wembanyama on the shoulder. And
right.
Got backhanded.
Right.
But also at the same time, in that video, she didn't even get backhanded. The guy just pushed her hand away.
Yeah.
So it was like she completely exaggerated, but at the same time, what do you think is going to happen if you're rushing after the basketball player and the security guards don't even see you coming in? But then, as soon as the security guard turned around, you should be like, wait a sec.
Oh, it's Britney Spears. Then you say, hey, Victor, Britney wants to say hello. And he'll say, who? Britney Spears. And then he'll go, I have no idea who that is. I'm French and I'm 19. I have no idea.
Exactly. And then you just go about your day. Essentially, that's all you do.
I wonder if he has a girlfriend or anything.
I don't know. Haven't seen.
Probably not.
Haven't seen the what's that the gossip website?
Oh, TMZ.
Yeah, haven't gotten the TMZ scoop on him yet.
I was going to say Britney Spears. I don't know if he's ever made sex, but that could be I mean, what a way to get started out.
If he's ever made sex. Oh god. Bringing it back to basketball real quick though, I will say his first game, I was like, I wasn't like all those other people that are like, oh, he's a bust. His game was terrible. But I was like, yeah, that first game was not great. He blocked a good bit of shots.
He had
but,
5.
Yeah, but his offense looked very eh. His shot wasn't falling. He wasn't looking strong enough as...
Yeah, but he bounced back.
No, he did. But I'm just saying, in that first game, I feel like the Spurs were like, all right, we have to give him one more game because now everyone thinks he sucks.
And he's going to kill himself. If he spends the next couple months coming off that performance, he's going to kill himself.
Right. Like if you really have to go off of that performance for the next 3-4 months until the season starts, and then just God forbid he has a bad game, his first NBA game, then all hell would break loose.
Oh, then they'll be talking about trading him.
Exactly. They're like, oh, generational bust, all this kind of stuff. So at least he did bounce back. He had a good offensive game, and he did look very,
very generational talent, my ass.
Yeah, exactly.
He ain't no LeBron.
But
which, if I were Luka, though, I'd be a little hot if I were Luka, because Luka is supposed to be like the next guy to come to take over the NBA once all these older dudes take a hike, and I don't know, nobody's paying attention to him as much right now.
I agree. I mean, also when Luka was coming out of Europe at that time, he was supposed to be like the best European to ever grace the NBA because he was like the wonder kid playing over there when he was like 15, 16, competing for a national team spot and everything like that. And then now you got Jokic, who everyone's talking about being the best European that's ever played in the NBA so far. Wembanyama coming in, who's supposed to be the greatest prospect ever since LeBron James. He's not only getting taken over in terms of faces of the NBA in general, but also faces of European players playing in the NBA.
Hey, we'll see what happens.
Agreed. But anyway, going back to Summer League, I think Wembanyama is... I mean, he's a winner in terms of winners and losers. He looked good in his second game. He bounced back, showed he had, the mental fortitude to still have a great game. I think the biggest winner out of Summer League has to be Cam Whitmore.
Whoever let him drop that far, and thank God the Rockets picked him up. The Rockets actually look like they're a team that's not messing around. They made some good moves in free agency. They have a nice little roster going on with some capable guys. And the fact that they added Fred VanVleet, even though we don't like Dylan Brooks, he's still a stable, quality
He's a good
starter.
Defensive presence.
Yeah. I don't even want to give him that much credit, but at least he's like knowledgeable on... He's a starter. All right? He's a starter in the league. I'll give him that at least. He's a buffoon, but I'll give him at least that. And then they go out. They pick up one of the Thompson boys. And then they pick up Whitmore in the draft. So they have... Their draft was fantastic.
Yeah, the problem with the Rockets is they're... well, I guess they got the point guard, Thompson, right? Or is that Detroit?
Amen, Thompson.
Okay.
The Osar, he went to Detroit, yeah.
Okay. So the problem with the Rockets...
Stupid names.
Is, up until this year, they got Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr., they got a bunch of shot chuckers. I think now with Thompson, with Sengun, you got two guys that are going to give you more control and more play within an offense. Hopefully Porter and Green fit in, and let their games grow, but they're not relied on as like, here, go create us offense. It's more so like fit in, Jalen Green still has star potential, but he's not going to be like Thompson's going to be the running the show for them. They got a bunch of wings, Tari Eason. They also is one of the young wings they got last year. And then they signed like so many. Didn't they sign like 4 or 5 like veterans, like on free agency day?
No, they signed Darius Days, Jeff Green, Aaron Holiday.
Yeah. Along
Were
with
the
Van Vliet and Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
right.
Oh, well, Van Vliet, there you go. I forgot about Van Vliet. So Van Vliet's going to run
Probably
the
the
show.
best player on the Rockets now. You forget about him.
So he's going to run the show for them, and he's probably going to be the guy that, like, really, helps these young guys grow their game. I mean, they're not winning a championship anytime soon, but now you got Van Vliet for 3 years. You got all these young guys. They're going to mold, the way they want to. And I think, like you said, the Rockets killed it in the draft. The Rockets have had a decent offseason so far. I mean, they're paying Van Vliet a lot of money for 3 years that they're not going to win a championship unless James Harden comes back. But that doesn't seem likely right now. So it's a good move for the Rockets. They're heading in the right direction, and it's exciting to be down in H-Town, I guess.
I mean, I don't.
Go ahead, Dennis.
Oh, sorry, honey. They got a new coach. Coach is good. All right, that'll make a big difference. So their starting five right now is projected to be Sengun, Jabari Smith, Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, and Fred Van Vliet. And then off the bench, as of right now, is Porter, Thompson, Cam Whitmore, Tari Eason, and Jock Landale.
Oh,
Then
they got Londale.
Then we have Aaron Holiday, and then Jeff Green, and so they got a deep little team going there, and I am not gonna rule them out this year at all. I'm not saying they're gonna like go to the Western Conference Finals, but they're certainly a playoff team now, easily, and not just like a play-in team, but they may be able to squeak a 6th seed.
I agree. I mean, Ime is going to get them playing defense, first and foremost. And then on top of that, they do have a lot of like interchangeable parts in terms of guards and wings, because the Amen Thompson, he's 6 foot, I think he's like 6'7", with like a 7-foot wingspan as a point guard, which is insane. That's like a Ben Simmons type of build, but just not as muscular. And then on top of that, you then have Cam Whitmore, who's another like shooting guard, small forward. Jalen Green, who can play either one of the guards. Fred Van Vliet, either one of the guards. Same thing with Kevin Porter Jr. Then you have more of like the stretch four in terms of Jabari. Then there's Tari Eason coming off the bench. Sengun is another playmaker from the center spot. I mean, they do have a lot of like positionless guys that you can switch on defense, other than like maybe Fred Van Vliet just because he's undersized. But on offense, they can literally play like any role you need them to play at all.
And I think they're going to use that to their advantage. I could see them using a bunch of different lineups, guys shuffling around all over the place. Rockets are going to be an exciting team.
Oh, yeah. And I think, like Cam Whitmore, one of the biggest winners of the Summer League. I mean, Summer League MVP. Didn't play all that well in the Summer League championship game, but it is what it is. And then, I mean, Jabari Smith played extremely well in the 2 games he played. Tari Eason also played very well in the 2 games he played. So,
I know, but it's Summer League.
Oh, I know, but it's just nice to see.
Like you said, Jabari Smith is good, but did he really need to be out there? He's playing against a bunch of guys who just got drafted or are looking to make a team, or guys who are barely anything.
Right.
So, yeah, you should play well.
Exactly. But at least it's just a little promising that he did do well instead of really fuck it up.
Honestly, though, if I were to be impressed by anybody, it would be Chet Holmgren. Because
another winner of Summer League.
Not only did he look like an NBA player finally, he put on some weight, and you could tell noticeably he looked a lot bigger. He looked just thicker. And I guess he gained about 20 pounds, which that was something that we were screaming about before he came in. Like, he didn't look like the skinny kid anymore. Mm-hmm. He actually looked like a guy who is going to take the Thunder to that next level. You know, if him and Shea are clicking, I think Holmgren's just going to come in right away and just be like an established NBA player right off the bat. I think the time away helped him. He put on some weight, like I said. He just looked like the complete package. He's a good shot blocker. He could shoot. Like the guy's, it's going to be great.
Yeah, that's Mike's boy.
Don't forget about Jalen Williams either.
Which one?
Not the one from Arkansas, the one from like Santa Barbara, the darker one.
Len, not Lin.
Racist, man.
I didn't know how else to describe them. They both have like similar hair. They both have, you know.
Well, one's good and one's okay.
The good one.
Yeah. True.
And then Scoot was looking okay. He only played half a game pretty much before his summer league was over. But there are some guys who played really well, and then there's some guys like Brandon Miller who didn't look so well at times.
Brandon Miller at least looked like he was improving as time went on.
Yeah, but that should be concerning to me. And
true.
If you're the Hornets, for one, I'm like, am I going to take this guy? We've talked about the stuff that he got wrapped up in the offseason. I'm not even going to touch on that. But then you're picking him over a guy who, had it been any other draft, and I'm talking about Scoot, if this draft were one more year, Scoot would be the number one overall pick.
Yep.
On top of that, Scoot has been basically playing at an NBA level by playing for that G League team, the Ignite. So he already is much more seasoned than a Miller is. So if you think about any of the guys who play for the G League teams, the guys who like forgo college and they go play, you don't have to worry about school. I'm not saying the college guys are really that overly focused on academics, but you have a guy who all you're doing is playing basketball. You're conditioning, you're lifting weights, you're watching tape, you're doing all this stuff. You don't have to worry about going to class. You don't have to worry about keeping a grit. Like none of that stuff you have to worry about. College, you're out. You got to worry about getting some chick knocked up because we know how that goes in college.
All you have to worry about is, there's also, you have the access to professional facilities, coaches, trainers, like all of that stuff is right there with the NBA too. So, and a lot of the guys you are playing in G League are like guys that, are right on the cusp of the NBA. They're on that two-way contract, or guys that are playing their way up for a contract, or even some of the guys that like get hurt and they play in the G League a couple games and then they come back up to the roster. Like you're playing a lot of that really close to NBA talent that whole time. So yeah, I agree.
Especially on that team, the Ignite. It's a team full of pretty much guys who are going to be like ready to play.
Right.
So it's not like you're scrimmaging against some guy who went to North Dakota, high school, and he barely, you know what I mean? And he's going to play D3 basketball and he's trying to make it D1. Like, you're not doing that stuff. You're playing against, like, talented guys.
Exactly. And, they also throw in, like, 2 or 3 veterans to just, like, allow these guys to learn more about how the league has been and how they can improve and things like that.
Relax.
That
fucking dog's always barking over everything. I don't understand what the hell dog's barking for.
I think that means Deanna's home.
You usually bark when she comes home,
too. That's what
too.
Alex normally does at the door when she gets home.
Yeah,
barks.
Exactly.
He's got his collar on and a leash.
Oh, God. I don't even have a comeback for that, to be honest.
You shouldn't.
Got him!
But I think one of the losers is Shaden Sharp, to be honest. Sharp did not look great at all.
Chill.
He didn't against lesser talent.
Chill. What do you games?
In all honesty, though, when you look at Shaden Sharp didn't really start doing anything until half the Blazers team was out toward the end of the season.
That's also true.
And then all of a sudden he starts scoring 19, 20 points a game, and everybody's ranting and raving. There's a reason why you didn't hear a thing from him throughout the entire year. And half the Blazers, you had Nurkic, you had Lillard, you had Trenton Watford barely played.
You act like he didn't have I see what you're talking about, but he had.
Yeah, it's funny because I know what I'm talking about.
No, his 15th game of the season, his 15th career or his 14th career game against the Brooklyn Nets, he had 20 points.
Okay,
he had some blow-up games like 12, 17, 15. But
but I'm saying he wasn't a consistent spot.
Correct.
He didn't have a consistent spot in a rotation.
Right. And I will say, this summer league he played 4 games compared to only playing 1 game last year. I forget if he got hurt or whatever the case was. But this year he averaged 17 points, 5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1 steal a game, which is okay. But he shot 34.8% and 27% from 3. On top of almost 3 turnovers a game. So his assist to turnover ratio was almost like a 1-to-1. So and that's against lesser talent, against other guys that are trying to make an NBA roster. And he can't even dominate those guys. We watched Jabari Smith, and we just said Jabari Smith is a good player. He's not even a great player yet, but he dominated. He was putting up 30, 40 points. Keegan Murray in the Sacramento one put up 40 points. There was Tari Eason playing super well. Chet Holmgren, who didn't even play last year, playing super well. These guys, as a second-year player, if you're going to really make an impact on the in the NBA, usually you come into summer league and dominate in your second year.
Yeah, well, that's what if you have a year under your belt, you already have an advantage over the other guys. That's what you should be doing.
Right. Exactly. So that's why I think he's one of the quote-unquote losers of summer league, because I honestly, every time I watched him, I was kind of I wish I was watching Scoot more.
So, Sharp last season, you can't count October. So, November he averaged 7.8 points. December, 6.7 points. January, 7.7. February, 9.3. And then in March is pretty much when the Blazers threw the towel in. He started averaging 13.8 points. And then in April, he averaged 22.8 points. But that's, as I said before, I didn't think the Blazers were even going to be able to play some games. Their injury report was loaded with people.
Yeah, they had 7 people prepared.
It was more than that. The most I ever saw last season was the Heat, but that's just because the league slapped their dick, so they started to try to be honest, but so they just started listing everybody. The Blazers had everybody lit. Drew Eubanks showed up, and it was just a nightmare toward the end of the season. So it just wasn't a good situation. So of course he's going to play well when there's nobody else to play. And he was the best out of the limited options that they had.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Sharp just really was disappointing to me. I will say it sucked that Amen Thompson was the one that got hurt. His first game looked good, especially on both sides of the ball. A lot of steals, a lot of blocks on top of a really solid offensive game.
It's Lonzo Ball 2.0.
He definitely could be, except
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
He's not as good of a shooter right now.
Don't start. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Well, you remember Lonzo when he first came in.
Yeah, but look at what he did when before he got hurt. How well he was playing. And I think he was even shooting 42% from three in
Yeah,
his
this year,
last season.
5 years into the league.
Hey, he improved.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He's Lonzo
And the
Ball
Chicago
2.0.
Bulls started. Let the guy who knows what he's talking about talk.
You don't know what you're talking about.
The Chicago Bulls looked easily like they could have been the best team in the Eastern Conference when Lonzo Ball was healthy. The minute Lonzo Ball got hurt, the Bulls started to fall apart.
I mean, that definitely is when they started falling apart. And that's even with Zach LaVine having one of his healthiest seasons of his career last year. And last year, Chicago just looked abysmal most of the time. I still can't believe Vucevic got that much money. But
honestly, he's one of the best centers in the league, so why wouldn't he?
I mean, yes, but at the same time, he's not making that much of a difference for Chicago.
Well,
in the 2017 draft, here are the top 10 players in value over a replacement player. Okay? I'm going to leave one guy out. I want you to tell me who he is. Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, Bam Adebayo, Jared Allen, De'Aaron Fox, John Collins, Lauri Markkanen, Lonzo Ball, OG Anunoby. Who did I leave out? I'll give you a hint. He started with the Spurs, and he's been moved around a few times.
This is 2017.
Yes.
Started.
Lonnie Walker.
This guy's number 6, so he's in between De'Aaron Fox and John Collins and Lauri Markkanen for value.
Lonnie Walker.
No.
Lonnie Walker would have been a good one. And you said he started with the Spurs and he's moved around a few times. So he's been on 3 or 4 teams.
At least 3.
At least 3. Oh, that's a good question.
What's the position?
He's a guard.
Guard too.
He has a
Alex
haircut.
Caruso.
He has a haircut similar to Alex.
Alex Caruso.
I said Spurs.
Similar to mine.
Recently similar.
Is that even a haircut?
Shaved it down.
I mean, I don't even know if you consider that a haircut.
Similar. All right, last hint. His last name is something that all 3 of us share in common.
White.
Colby White.
The only white I can.
There's nobody named.
White.
I would say handsome, but only 2 out of the 3 of us are handsome.
Come on, you guys can't figure it out.
Now, who is it?
Derek White.
Oh, Derek White. His haircut's not like mine. He has that like fur ball on top.
No,
of his
he's
head.
bald now.
Did he completely shave his head?
I thought so.
And to me, Derek White, I think of him as like 40.
It's weird. He has right here is a baby face, but the rest looks like he's 50 years old. He honestly makes no sense.
I hate trivia stuff. I could never answer it.
Remember this guy were always good ones, though.
I know, we're good. We'll bring it back.
All right, cool.
One day.
Because
you get so nervous when you get trivia, and then
Jefferson asked you some questions.
He was nervous because he got to meet me.
He wished he had a nice head of hair like you did.
A lot of people do.
That's true.
It's good hair.
This is not an advertisement, but I'm starting Hims, by the way. So we'll see if I can regrow some hair.
I thought you were using it for another reason.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't need help in that department.
It's like, pal, you're a little young for that.
I don't need help in that department. I know there's a reason I got married. I mean, come on now.
We heard you're on the pup list. physically unable to perform.
Never.
Well, I mean, you do bark like a dog when she shows up, so who the hell knows what's going on over there?
Happy wife, happy life. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know. The smartest thing I ever did was I managed to keep the same woman for over 20 years. I can't for the life of me figure out how the hell I did that. She might feel sorry for me or something.
That's why I don't understand Zion. How do you have to do all that? By the way, I didn't see... Oh, this comment just came up. TK11 here said, had to create a channel just to tell Bash to get some decorations for the new room.
Fucking spot on, TK.
Well, I'm not allowed to hang anything without Katie's approval, so... but it's also still in her garage. We got some posters, some frame pictures.
Hey, you were talking about me barking at the door. You can't even hang something without
we got
permission.
Some Funko Pops. We got Mewtwo here. We got Charizard.
I don't have any Pokemon, but I got a lot back there.
We got Damian Tomlinson.
LT I can respect. I got the white men can't jump cast though.
Tell you, Rosie Perez and White Men Can't Jump. Are we talking about the original?
Oh hell yeah, we're talking about the original.
Rosie Perez in that, Mamma Mia.
The original's the only one to talk about.
Rosie Perez was looking real good.
TK says, "LOL, waiting for the Quincy Doobie shit."
I might have to get a custom one. I don't think they make Chinese Basketball Association Funko Pops, but if
somewhere, some Etsy shop in China, I bet you does.
It's all right. A couple of years from now, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, they're gonna make the league. I'll get some Rutgers Funko Pops once they get there.
Is Ace Bailey related to Amari Bailey?
Who the hell is Amari Bailey?
The guy that just got drafted this year? Yeah.
No. He's related to... So, it's interesting how he's ending up at Rutgers.
Anything that you say is not interesting.
No, so he plays for an AAU program who's run by Omar Cooper. Omar Cooper is the father, I believe the father, of Sharif Cooper.
Okay.
Sharif Cooper's sister is like Tiana Cooper or something like that. Like, I don't know her name. It's like someone with an apostrophe.
Tiana Cooper from the WNBA.
Yeah. It's either her kid's godfather or her godfather is the assistant coach at Rutgers. Brandon Knight from Pittsburgh.
That's a long trail. Okay.
So Ace Bailey's teammate comes to Rutgers. Now Ace is coming to Rutgers. Hopefully we get Dylan Harper to Rutgers. Then we have the two top recruits in the country in 2024.
Well,
you'll see me on national television right behind him.
In response...
All right, I'm gonna text him.
For those listening, TK11 said, "Fuck Rutgers." But yeah, that is a pretty crazy trail. But anyway, let's move on from Summer League. We've talked a lot about, unless you guys have any last bits to add for Summer League.
I'm still thinking about Rosie Perez.
Agreed.
That Rosie Perez and also I don't know if you've ever seen Wild Things, but it had Denise Richards and Nev Campbell in it.
I probably saw it. I just don't remember it.
And Denise Richards in that movie, I have no idea what was happening to me when I watched that for the first time, but I felt I got all she came out of a swimming pool. She had like a see-through tight one piece on. I remember like getting all like jittery. My heart was like beating, like stomach ache. It was a fucking disaster.
Started looking around for the sock.
Oh, I didn't even think I had a chance to grab the sock because things just happened.
I got a side message from TK11 for you, Dennis.
Okay.
It says, "Big Sexy is the man."
Oh, thank you, TK.
Of course. Big Sexy.
He knows what TK knows what he's fucking talking about. He came in, he said shit about your stupid thing back there. But yeah.
I hope Dennis comes on the podcast every week with a fresh haircut.
Oh, of course. That's how Dennis rolls.
That's right.
One of these days, I'm going to come on the podcast and I'm going to have a bunch of hair that I've never had before.
I can't wait.
I'm not even going to know what to do with it because I've never had the style hair for like 20 years.
I grew up, I had the worst hair, so now that I'm an adult, I go, I got to sculpt this. And my boy Johnny, he knows what he's doing.
Shout out to Johnny. So moving on, let's talk about Joel Embiid's comments. And actually, what I have queued up, because we're upgrading the podcast experience here on YouTube. I got the video.
We are.
I
got the video of the comments from Joel Embiid. So let's play that real quick here. It's 45 seconds, real quick.
But what can we look forward from Joel Embiid?
I just want to win a championship. Whatever it takes. I don't know where that's going to be, whether it's in Philly or, anywhere else. I just want to have a chance to accomplish that. I want to see what it feels like to win that first one and then you can think about, the next one. It's not easy, but, it takes more than, 1, 2, 3 guys. You gotta have, good people around you, and like myself, every single day I work hard to, be at that level, so I can produce and make it happen. So every single day that's, working towards that.
So,
can he get socks? Like, why do these guys now have socks?
that's the new thing. Showing the ankle is like the new thing.
Yeah, that's my new style too. I used to wear high socks like a grandpa. Now I wear like ankle socks or no socks.
But you have Kegels though.
I don't have them with me. I got a fresh pair. My favorite things to wear now are the Kirkland signature slides.
Oh God. I still wear Nike Crew socks. Those are, they're the most comfortable socks I've still ever had. So
you got to go with comfortable socks, because if you don't have good socks, like if they slide down or they get bunched up, I want to lose my fucking mind.
Oh, it's the most annoying thing ever.
Dennis, you want to lose your mind every other day. If your remote falls into the bottom of the recliner, you want to lose your mind.
That is irritating.
If your wife doesn't bring you a drink before the end of the first quarter, you want to lose your mind. Dennis also has a different drink every week. Like, how many different stores do you go to that you have like 12 packs of all these different assorted drinks?
I'm not. My preference has never been Diet Pepsi, but the wife likes it. So, what do you think we have in the house? But I'm a Diet Coke guy.
Of course.
I like Coke products more too.
Yeah, I'm actually a Coke Zero. I like Coke Zero the best at anything. And they've come out with this limited release thing lately, Coke has. And I've been crushing that lately.
Oh, is it like
the circuit?
One at a time, fellas.
I said you're off the cricket?
The cricket?
Or the circuit?
No, I drank 2 things of that today. So I drank about 80 ounces of fluid, and now
is it the Coke Zero can that's like tan or whatever? Is that the limited release?
It's like a limit. I forget the name of it, but it's one of those things where you drink it and your first taste, you're not like thrilled, but then once it's there for like a second, you're like, wait a second, this is fantastic.
Okay.
One of those things.
Because I saw a different can in the grocery store the other day, and I was like, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's Coke. Coke got their shit together.
True. But anyway.
But yeah, I like a wide variety of drinks.
Danny here says Mountain Dew Zero over.
Do you guys remember the drink Vault?
Vault?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Mountain Dew.
It's like the off-brand Mountain Dew. Yeah.
Mountain Holler.
I actually used to drink like that Faygo, like the blue Faygo soda. It was like blue raspberry or something like that. It was just it was literally called Faygo.
Fago. That's kind of you should. Oh, Fago.
Faygo. Now I gotta show it. Now I gotta bring it up here because you guys
Mountain
are making me
Lightning
sound like
from
I'm-
Walmart. If you want to go into diabetic, if you want to develop diabetes, Mountain Lightning, like Sam's Choice.
This is what I'm talking about. Oh,
This
it's
is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
blueberry.
That looks
Yeah,
awful.
blueberry.
They made their own they had
What
like
kind
root
of
beer.
Lancaster County bullshit is this?
They had like their own root beer, and then they
The
had like
fuck's
their
Moon
own
Mist?
Sierra Mist. It was just a knockoff of Sierra Mist.
What did your parents shop at like Kroger's for groceries? Like, what is that?
No, it actually the only places I could find it were
Was this like RC Cola?
no, not really. It was just at like local pizza places. Local pizza places just had that in the fridges all the time. TK says Pepsi Blue. I've never had Pepsi.
That's a throwback, TK.
No, my favorite is vanilla Pepsi.
Danny says, Fago, are you a juggalo? I can't say I am, but Fago was good.
No, you know
Dr.
what I had?
Bob.
You know what I had the other day?
Dr. Pibb, too.
No, you know what? You know what's the best?
That's a juggalo.
Pacific Cooler Capri Sun.
Wait, what? Say that again?
Pacific Cooler Capri Sun.
Oh, yeah. Pacific Cooler, that shit was good.
See, I was never a big Capri Sun guy because they didn't come out until I was like 18.
Mountain Cooler is the one I like. I got Pacific Cooler.
I do remember though every time
There is a
like
Pacific one too. But anyway, sorry, go ahead, Dennis.
no, you know the little Lunchables that you can make a little pizza out of.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
my mom never let me get those.
Those things were the best.
I would
Danny
have.
says the Moon Mist is just Mountain Dew. Yeah, essentially it was just like knockoff Mountain Dew, but it also had some. To me, it had like the lemon lime of like a Sierra Mist.
Now this is a guy who knows his soda though. I will
Exactly.
say,
Danny knows his
Danny
shit.
knows his shit when it comes to soda.
Yep. But yeah, TK saying Dr. Bob. There was also Dr. Pibb, which is just
Mr.
Dr.
Pibb. Mr.
Mr.
Pibb.
Pibb. Mr. Pibb. You're
You
right.
could go to Wendy's, and Wendy's was the only place that had Mr. Pibb.
Yep.
And I love the Wendy's experience. They had the salad bar. You go in there, they go
Oh,
two
yeah.
for the dining room. Like you felt important.
What Wendy's do you ever go to that was a sit down like?
Wendy's?
There's no hostess at a Wendy's.
Wendy's used to have like a microphone to where they go two for the dining room. Are you going to eat in the dining room? Yeah.
Yeah, because when there was the salad
Quit-
bar,
Yeah,
they would
tacos.
say like either like 2 to go or 2 for the dining room.
And don't act like you don't know what we're talking about. Look at you. Of course you
Exactly.
know Wendy's.
I only ever went to McDonald's in the Play Place.
TK says it was a Dr. Pepper bootleg, and then he also said he loves Wendy's, and he told Bash to shut up, and then that Dennis knows.
And the Wendy's chili.
Oh, I still get
Fucking
Wendy's
Christ.
chili.
Yeah. Mike said
That
he
shit was
used to go to McDonald's Play Place, but that was a week ago. They threw him out and arrested him.
So basketball.
We played the Joel Embiid video and then literally didn't go anything into Joel Embiid.
All right, what did he say?
All right, so
I was more focused on his socks. Or his lack of socks.
essentially the thing that everyone's talking about is the fact that he said he wants to win a championship whether it's in Philly or somewhere else.
Yeah,
So
no
everyone-
shit. I hope so.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I feel like any player would say that. I mean, they're gonna say they want to win it in the place that they're at, but they also, if they can't, they're gonna want to win it somewhere else. But the main thing that everyone's saying is this kind of speeds up the process of the Sixers trying to build a team that's winning right now, and that's what a lot of media outlets have said, and so on and so forth. But the thing is, this whole time window has been sped up long ago. First off, when you trade for James Harden, the window got a lot smaller because James Harden ain't getting any younger. Second, Joel Embiid being as injury prone as he is and getting older and approaching 30, if he's not 30 already, he's either 29 or 30. That, in and of itself, is shrinking the championship window. On top of that, the team has traded away pretty much all of their picks. Again, shrinking the championship window. The only reason that like the window is even like somewhat open is because Maxey is good and he's young. The rest of the team is all getting old, other than like DeAnthony Melton, because they let Shake Milton go. B-Ball Paul's still young, but he's still a backup type of player. Tobias Harris is on the other side of 30. Harden's on the other side of 30. PJ Tucker's pretty much damn near 40.
But this is what I'm saying, though. Not now. Now I'm in a mood. Now I'm getting in it. But this is exactly what I'm saying, though. Like, if you're Philly,
yeah,
I get it. Damian Lillard says he wants to play in Miami and everything, but I would think that the Sixers are in a much better position to trade for Damian Lillard. And you're not telling me if Damian Lillard went to Philly, like James Harden would be totally on board with staying. Because that's the closest he'll ever fucking come to winning a title is in that situation.
True.
So, like, I get it. You're not going to build your franchise around Tyrese Maxey. I know he's a quality player, but to me, he's not a superstar. He's not even close to a superstar. You need to get rid of him and trade for somebody who's going to help you win now. Like, make a difference. And I know I floated Bradley Beal to you before, but I mean, Phoenix wanted him. They realized getting Bradley Beal on my team is a way to increase my chances of winning an NBA title. Philly could have put themselves in a position to where they could have been in a better situation had they acquired a guy like Bradley Beal. Even though Bradley Beal only plays about 32 games a season, but you know what I mean.
I would have taken Bradley Beal over James Harden, though, because then I think that Beal and Maxey work well together in their skill sets, whereas Harden, Beal, and Embiid, I think, still gives you pretty much the same exact issues that you were having before in terms of Harden is still not going to move off the ball. He's still going to do the same dribble until 5 seconds left in the shot clock and do the same old bullshit. And it's just going to be a reiteration of what happened last year, just with another player that is still a solid star.
Phillies, though, they're wasting way too much time and energy discussing James Harden.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to James Harden. Let's talk about Joel Embiid first. We'll get to him and Damian Lillard. But also, Danny here says, one last thing. I think we need an offshoot of this podcast where you guys talk about Faygo, Italian ice, tomato pie, and other regional delicacies.
I'm down.
I'd be down for a food podcast.
Dennis likes himself a good cheesesteak egg roll.
Yo, cheesesteak egg rolls are banging.
I'll send you guys a picture later of my freezer and all the shit I have in it in terms of anything that's considered either an ice pop or an ice cream product is crazy.
Drumsticks are the best dessert.
Wait. The best dessert, like, in general, or the best ice cream dessert?
Ice cream dessert.
Okay. I was about to say, if you said best dessert in general, that's
well,
crazy.
What do you got over it?
I mean, cookies in general are a much better dessert than drumsticks.
You can't classify everything into one group. Ice cream is a separate category.
Agreed.
Cake is a separate category. Cookies is a separate category.
Dennis had all three of those things that you're winning.
I'm the only guy who'd have one alcoholic beverage, but yet I had about 4 slices of every piece of cake there.
I'm glad you did. The only dessert I had were the cookies. I didn't get to have any other. I didn't even eat my own wedding cake.
Oh, did you save? Don't you save? Like
you did later on that night. You know what I mean?
Oh, you got his cake later on.
Yes.
I told you.
Because-
That's why I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem in that department.
Hopefully you guys showered. I saw you on the dance floor.
You kidding me? We went straight to bed. I didn't have time for a shower.
I told you. I love it. Everybody's like, "Ooh, you're gonna still." None of that stuff. You're so exhausted by the end of the night that none of that stuff is happening.
Deanna didn't even take out the 500 like bobby pins and everything from her hair. She went right to bed.
I don't blame her.
But anyway, no, I agree that you have to split everything up into different categories. But anyway, going back to Joel Embiid. So him saying this had a lot of people saying like it sped up the championship window and now he might request a trade and all this kind of stuff.
Shut up with this already. Like, I'm sorry, but I've had enough of this requesting trade from anybody.
I agree.
I can't take it anymore.
But then also there's conflicting reports because some of the other reports say like, oh, he wants to do more the Kobe Dirk Nowitzki route where he plays for one team his entire career.
And none of these guys know anyways. The media is just making shit up because I read another report that he wants to stay in Philly his entire career. Like he's told people behind the scenes sources that he's not going anywhere. So who knows what to believe? In case in point, the LeBron James fiasco when they made up that he was contemplating retiring, even though he never was.
Right. And then the other thing was Joel Embiid went on Twitter and told people like, hey, I'm trolling. And it's like, look, when you watch that interview, we all know you weren't trolling. Like you weren't like poking fun like, haha, I might go somewhere else. Like that's not a troll. We saw you admittedly say, if I win, like, I'd love to win a championship, whether it's here or somewhere else. And that's not a far-fetched thing to say. It's just a lot of media places have just ran with that, which is, again, what media does, blow everything out of proportion and make it stupid. But it's just like, the thing I find that's really funny is that the first fan base and the first thing people pushed was him getting traded to the Knicks. And I was like, oh, yeah, because going to the Knicks
is an upgrade.
Exactly. Like, because
there's
no
place I'd rather be than the Big Apple playing for that disaster.
Especially because Daryl Morey's going to be like, oh, yeah, we want Julius Randle and nothing else back. Everyone was like, oh, we're going to have Barrett and Hart and Brunson and Embiid. I was like, yeah, because Daryl Morey's going to be like, oh, give me Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle, and that's all I want.
Right. We'll take Jericho Sims, a second rounder. Yeah, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
And Evan Fournier. Yeah, that's all we need.
Daryl Morey is the Doug of real life. He wants the sun and the moon for his cheapest assets.
Nobody knows who Doug is.
And this is weird brother-in-law.
But my whole point is that I don't even know my point. I'm sick of hearing about the trade stuff because then I've heard Damian Lillard is going to be traded. Then I heard he's not getting traded. Then I heard he wants to go to the Heat. Then you hear he's open to going elsewhere. Nobody knows. People are making stuff up.
And that's why I'm switching over to Damian Lillard and James Harden now.
Good, because I was about to, like, enough with Damian Lillard. All right, and Harden too. They're putting in way too much effort into discussing James Harden. He opted into his deal. Good for you. We need to have a discussion. Do you want to play here or don't you? Because if you don't want to play here, shut the fuck up because we're going to trade you. All right? Don't say anything that's going to jeopardize us getting... The only thing I want, because you're going to get more money by getting your player option with us. However, you got to work with us. And I've said this tactic before, but shut the fuck up. Don't do anything that's going to decrease your value. We'll trade you, but help us out. Help us help you. End of story.
Exactly.
So no, we got a fucking fiasco on our hands.
The more the player just shuts up and doesn't try to strong arm the team, usually it works out quicker.
Yeah.
Like in their favor, getting to a new team.
These GMs or president of basketball operations, governors, they're in their positions for a reason. Like they're scumbags when it comes to that. The whole objective is to get the best possible deal.
Right.
And it's been proven that if you look at when the Celtics and the Sixers, the whole Markelle Fultz, Jason Tatum thing, they literally had the Sixers believing that they were going to take Markelle Fultz, and they never had the intention of taking him, but they made him believe that it was going to happen. Like that's the shit right there, to where things turn into like a real sleazy industry, and these players have to learn sometimes. Just shut up. Let us do it. We get it. You don't want to be here anymore. You don't want to be anywhere because you hate everywhere you've been. We'll trade you, but just shut up.
Exactly.
So you're going to fucking make a big deal about everything.
And the fact that Damian Lillard's camp and agent are telling other teams that, if you trade for him, he's not going to play for you, so don't even try. Like, shut the fuck up.
And they were talking the same shit about Siakam. Siakam was, if you trade me, I'm not going to. But that's okay. He wants to stay in Toronto, apparently. And I know it's not Dame or Harden, but,
Sorry. Finish.
I can't now. Go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of Siakam, I can get the inside scoop for you as I have a connection to the Siakam's agent. I'm still waiting for my autographed Siakam jersey, which hasn't come in yet.
How do you have a connection to the agent?
My friend's stepdad is friends with the agent.
Okay, but do you have something you're going to add?
No.
He interrupted me with nothing.
Pretty much, yeah.
But Siakam goes out and says, if you trade me, I'm not signing an extension with this new team.
Right.
So, yeah, like I get it. Sometimes, but you sign these. In his case, it's a little different because he never signed a contract. I hate when guys sign contracts and then they know Bradley Beal knew exactly he never wanted to stay in Washington. Tried to make it seem like people wanted him, and nobody wanted him. Phoenix only wanted him because they were desperate to get rid of Chris Paul.
True. Well, and then that's why I kind of hate that it's happening on the Sixers, but at the same time, I think it's a very funny karma situation for James Harden, who was just like, oh, I'll do this 1+1 deal, and then I'll just decline the option so that I get paid mega bucks because, like, oh, look, I saved you $10 million this one season so you could sign PJ Tucker. And then he realizes no other team wants to give him mega bucks. So the Sixers are like, why would we pay you mega bucks when no other team is willing to?
But they made it seem last offseason, though, that the intention was for him to stay there and get a longer-term deal.
Right, which is fine.
So if that were the case, I understand why he's pissed off.
But again, if it was a longer-term deal, but it just wasn't like a max, like if they were like, yeah, if you do this, we'll give you 3 years and like, I don't know, $30 million a year. Like, sure, go for it. But if he's like expecting like, oh, they should be giving me the max contract after that, it's like you gotta be realistic in terms of where you're at in your career. Giving James Harden the max strings this team like close to the cap for so many years because no one will be willing to take that contract even more after that kind of deal.
People don't even want to take Damian Lillard's contract.
Exactly.
And he's certainly got a couple more better years ahead, or at least it appears, than James Harden.
And Damian Lillard actually does very well in the postseason. Unlike James Harden.
Yeah, it seems like the Blazers are asking way too much for Damian Lillard. Like, if he was 28, they can get what he's asking for, but he's 32.
Hey, if the Jazz could get 4 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert, 5, I mean, that's the precedent now. That set a higher precedent. So if you're
but the market auto-corrected real fast.
Yeah, but then also, what? Kevin Durant's 34. What did Brooklyn get trading him to Phoenix?
He got 4 and then like a bunch of seconds. And Bridges.
Right.
And Cam Johnson.
So I think asking for something like close to that for Damian Lillard isn't out of the like.
The holdup is they don't want Tyler Hero, and that's basically the only thing that Miami has to offer, be outside of like Duncan Robinson. No, they don't want Tyler Hero. Nobody wants Tyler Hero. I don't blame him for that. My problem with Lillard is that you don't tell the team the day after the draft that you want out or the day after free agency opens, but only a couple days after the draft. All of a sudden, you don't want to stay in Portland anymore. They just signed Jeremy Grant.
Especially when you could have requested this trade any time in the last 2 seasons.
Sense.
Like any time, like when everyone was questioning why you're being so loyal and why you would do this and not just ask for a trade where you probably could have gotten somewhere a lot quicker and to a lot better of a team than the Miami Heat right now. Because, say you even trade Lillard onto the Heat, they're going to have to get rid of Hero, Duncan Robinson, probably a couple other guys, maybe even Caleb Martin. So now you're left with what? Lowry, Lillard, Butler, Bam, and then Orlando Robinson.
Because they lost Martin, they lost Strus, they lost
Gabe Vincent.
They lost some pretty important pieces to their lineup.
Exactly. And then you would lose a bunch of those other role players in a trade. So now you would just have those 3, and then you're also shit out of luck in terms of people to sign because free agency is pretty much over. So it doesn't even matter if you make that trade because now you're just gonna go to a situation in Miami that he kind of was in when he had like LaMarcus Aldridge and everybody. You had a few stars, and then your role players weren't that great, so you didn't end up going anywhere.
I can't with these people anymore.
Yeah. And then James Harden only wanting to go to the Clippers. Because, going to the team where everyone gets hurt all the time is really going to make you get closer to a championship than being in the Eastern Conference.
Please. I'm getting a headache now because the Clippers, and I can't even believe there's a discussion whether Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are going to be they're already discussing their next contract. I don't even feel like they started with their first contract.
I agree. Oh God.
I would be like, see you guys. Thank you for your service. Have a great day.
Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Right. We're keeping Ivica Zubac.
Exactly.
He's our star.
So, with that being said, let's move on a little bit. The last topic here was the remaining free agents and where they should go. So, let me bring that up here.
There's someone big, decently big, still out there. I can't think who
Christian
it is.
Wood.
No, it's not him.
PJ Washington.
No.
Kelly Oubre.
No, there's somebody else.
Ayo Dosunmu.
Wait, that's a guy on my fantasy team. But keep going.
Jalen Noel.
It was Ayo Dosunmu I was thinking of. I'm surprised somebody's no. It was Dosunmu.
Are they sure PJ Washington's a restricted free agent?
I'm not sure. I can check. Let's see. The Hornets did extend him a qualifying offer.
When? This season?
Yes, at the end of June. But nobody's signed him to an offer sheet.
Okay, so I could have sworn though that he was unrestricted, but Hey, whatever.
Maybe,
If
I
he's
don't know.
restricted, I mean, so he either has the option now to play on that 1 year deal and then enter unrestricted free agency next season. If he just signs that 1 year deal, he can play as an unrestricted free agent. He can sign a multi-year deal with the Hornets, or if another team makes an offer on him, the Hornets can match it.
Right.
So there's a couple scenarios here when it comes to that stuff.
I mean, PJ Washington is a solid big man, still pretty young.
He had a pretty damn good year.
Yeah, he's only what, like 25 maybe?
He's younger than that.
Yeah, so like I mean, I'm surprised he's still not like nobody's thrown an offer sheet at him. It's not like I don't think he's going to require crazy money. Especially because now for Charlotte they drafted Brandon Miller. They're getting Miles Bridges back. So I don't know. It seems like they don't really care much about Washington. So I'm kind of surprised that nobody's even tried. It's a little weird to me. I don't know if there's something behind the scenes. But then also...
No, I just don't think teams have money.
Well, yeah. Also, there's Christian Wood, though, which the thing is, I understand more why Christian Wood isn't picked up than I do PJ Washington. Because Christian Wood is like... his defense is pretty damn awful. But also, there's been so many reports that he's a terrible teammate, not great in the locker room, and pouts when he doesn't get the minutes that he wants. So with those reasons,
I mean, that's about half the NBA.
I mean, true. But with those reasons, I understand why he's not as sought after. Especially because, like, yes, he's a decent player, but it's crazy to me that he like expects to be playing like 35 minutes a game. It's like, what have you done to deserve 35 minutes a game? Not much.
I mean, he's had some good games last season.
No, don't get me wrong, he's been solid, but I'm not like.
I've seen. Hey, if you're going to sign Jock Lawndale to that kind of money, I think Christian. I mean. Yeah. The Rockets have tried the Christian Wood thing and it didn't really work out. But if guys like Jack Lawndale could get 4 years, $32 million, I think there's a market for Christian Wood.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's a fair argument. I just don't.
Damn right it is.
And then Kelly Oubre, I think, is another one that should be getting some more attention. Like, sure, he's streaky. He's not like the most consistent player, but like. As a bench player, I feel like he could be able to help any team.
I mean, the Warriors should look into getting him back. I mean, these teams don't have the money. Obviously, he commands a lot more than that. But if he wants to win a title, he can basically go anywhere he wants.
Well, I don't. Does he command a lot of money if nobody's signing him?
I mean, he's more than a minimum.
Well, in theory, he's definitely worth more than a minimum. But if you're the only team hitting him up about playing, maybe he takes the minimum.
I don't know if it's a minimum. He'd probably get like $6 million a year.
Like, I agree that his value.
I feel like the minimum in the NBA is probably like a couple million.
I mean, I'm surprised a team like the Hawks wouldn't want him, or the Mavericks, or the Knicks, even like the Heat, like one of those teams that like needs somebody like that.
That's what I'm saying, which is crazy to me how he's still there. Like, yeah, maybe teams are waiting until a Lillard or Harden trade happens and then they go get him. But like, I don't know. I just don't understand how he's still hanging out. Dosunmu, him being restricted, I feel like Chicago's going to match any offer for him. I mean, he's still pretty young. He's restricted. This was his rookie contract, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just finished his rookie contract.
So he's just gonna end up back with Chicago anyway. So other teams, it's probably why they're not even trying. I thought Jalen Noel. I thought they re-signed him. Maybe I'm wrong. I remember looking at a lot of reports saying that like he was going to compete with Shake Milton for backup minutes.
I mean, I think he should easily beat out Shake Milton for backup minutes.
I agree. He should. He had some very good
Because
rotational games.
wasn't healthy a lot last season.
Right. So, I mean, I feel like he'll probably go back to Minnesota. Terrence Ross is another one I feel like could help a contender as a bench player. Once he went to Phoenix, you didn't really see him much. They didn't even really play him all that often. JaMychal Green, I feel like, helped Golden State a little bit with some backup rotational minutes. TJ Warren, I actually completely forgot about him because, again, when he went to Phoenix, he was hurt, and then he just didn't play. So I don't know what TJ Warren would command in terms of a contract. Probably a minimum for TJ Warren, to be honest.
I'd take him.
Yeah, that's something the Sixers could use off the bench. I mean,
The Sixers could use anybody off the bench right now.
true. Diallo could honestly do a lot of things for a lot of different teams, especially anyone needing athleticism. Hint, hint, Sixers. Like, there's a lot of Anthony Lamb. I mean, Biyombo, though, serviceable backup center. Will Barton, serviceable backup wing. I mean, he shot like shit last year, but he could still help another team. Wenyen Gabriel. Now we're getting into players where I'm like, Kendrick Nunn was once a solid backup player.
Boy, the Lakers tossed Wenyen Gabriel aside like a pair of
Socks.
panties off a hooker. They got rid of him. They're like,
Yeah,
got what they needed and then dropped them off at the curb.
No, I agree. They really didn't care about him at all. Kendrick Nunn, kind of haven't heard about him since he had his little stint with the Miami Heat.
Yeah, because he was hurt basically for over a year.
That's true. Then you got Terrence Davis, who, he was okay. I mean, nothing to write home about. 42% from the floor, 36 from three. Like, that's decent for a bench guy. John Wall just, Danny Green is just old. That's really all.
I mean, now we're trying.
Oh, Bo Cruz.
Yeah, Willie Hernan Gomez. Then you get to Stanley Johnson, Justice Winslow, Goran Dragic, Blake Griffin.
So basically, the shit.
Yeah. Then you really start scraping the bottom of the barrel. Kemba Walker.
Friend Frank. Bo Cruz's brother. Wait, which one's Bo Cruz? I think Juancho's Bo Cruz.
Yeah, Juancho's the Bo Cruz. That is right. The not as good brother. Although Willie was in the movie. But, yeah, I mean, Christian Wood, he could help a lot of teams' benches. Honestly, Christian Wood on the Lakers would make sense as a backup big man.
I think Christian Wood's still a starter.
I think he can be a starter, but I think
stop with the can be. He's a good player.
He's a good player, but until he proves to be consistent and like actually stay on the floor in terms of doing something on defense, I don't think he'll be one.
Half the league doesn't play defense.
I mean, yeah, defense is hard to come by, but if you're going to play for a contending team, you're going to need to play it. So, that's just my thing. I'm still just the most surprised about PJ Washington not finding another team.
Oh,
or even getting an offer sheet.
He will.
I hope so. But unless you guys have anything else to get off your chest, I think that's it here for us.
No, but I did just see a clip of Julian Newman playing in a game with your boy White Chocolate. And not the white chocolate we know, but the fake white chocolate.
The street ball white chocolate.
Yeah.
I mean, Julian Newman is one of those guys that, like, I don't even understand why he was so hyped up. because now he's not doing anything. Isn't he only like 5'3"?
Yeah, he's like 5'7".
Yeah, dude was not gonna do much in terms of high level basketball. But anyway, that is it for us. Thank you everyone for listening to and watching another episode of the Atlantic Files, the #1 podcast on the #1 division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe below on YouTube. Hit the bell for notifications, let you know when you go live, and we upload shorts and other videos throughout the week as well.
I don't know how to do that stuff.
I mean, usually it's me uploading.
Right. I have nothing to do with that.
Our videos are also on Facebook. We're on Facebook Live as well whenever we go live for episodes. We're also live on our Twitter account whenever we go live. So if you want to watch on there too, we're also there. And then we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those audio platforms that everyone loves. So thank you everybody for listening, and we will catch you guys next week. Thank you, China, for keeping us in the top 100.
China, love you.